Greetings, my friends. George here from No Nonsense Metal Reviews, here today to talk a little bit about Edfest. The breaking news that we've just had from the Iron Maiden camp that they have turned their sole UK appearance this year at Knebworth House, 2026, sole UK date. Big deal anyway, but they've made it even bigger a deal now. They have turned it into Edfest, Iron Maiden's very own festival. At long last, they are certainly going to be celebrating 50 years of Iron Maiden in pretty spectacular style. I'm actually quite surprised that Iron Maiden haven't had their own festival or done something like this before. Nonetheless, this is really exciting stuff, and I think there's been clues, there's been hints since the original announcement that Iron Maiden had special plans, or their manager Rod Smallwood had big plans for their UK sole date at Knebworth, and that it was going to be big. We've also had little kind of teasers and hints being dropped on the Knebworth Iron Maiden website. There was kind of a map coming together indicating that there was going to be different things happening, and I am really excited. I've been really excited for this one. I had the pleasure of catching Iron Maiden on the Run for Your Lives 2025 tour at the Utilita Arena in Birmingham, and my goodness, it was hotter than the sun in that venue. However, it was also just an amazing show. Absolutely fantastic. So when they did announce the tour was going to roll on into 2026 and that the UK was going to have a very special show because they wanted to top, maybe not top, but do something on par with their London Stadium 70,000 attendees show that they did, London, of course, 2025. They wanted to do something special. So what we have is Saturday, the 11th of July at Knebworth House. This, on the back of the Fistful of Metal magazine, this was a big deal anyway, but this was just the initial kind of announcement. They announced they were going to be joined by a pretty solid lineup of bands, including Australian rock and rollers Airborne, kind of punk rock legends The Almighty, Mongolian metalers The Who, and Lowestoft's finest rock and rollers The Darkness, who I've got a lot of love for, actually. So it's a big deal anyway, and now it's even bigger. It was announced initially that it was going to open up. The show was going to be on the Saturday, but things were going to open up on the Friday 10th of July, 2026, and Maiden were going to be bringing along Eddie's Dive Bar, or the Ultimate Dive Bar, something they had been doing on the previous tour, or 2025 dates, essentially bringing a bar for the Maiden masses, something more of a community kind of spirit, something where the fans can get together and drink Trooper and get merch and all that good stuff. So that was pretty cool anyway. So I certainly have been very keen on that. I will be going for the Friday and the Saturday after getting my tickets, sitting there in the pre-sale queue, waiting to get those tickets, snap them up straight away. This is definitely going to be a sellout. I think this is easy confirmation. It's going to be a sellout show, a sold out performance. It's the very first Edfest Iron Maiden festival. The announcement came this week, and it's got a lot. There's got a lot going on. We know things kick off on the Friday. We've got the dive bar, which is awesome. We've also got a Funfair, which I think that's in itself is pretty cool. An Iron Maiden themed Funfair. Well, what can we say? That's going to be entertaining. Trooper fueled rock and rollers, heavy metalers getting on a Ferris wheel. That will be a laugh. So we've got the Unfair Funfair. I think the really exciting announcement is that we've also got the Infinite Dreams Museum. So helpfully, I should have got my prop actually. The Infinite Dreams book, I think 2025 it was, published essentially a visual history of Iron Maiden, featuring pictures of all kinds of awesome stage props, instruments, shots of the band, a visual encyclopedia of all things Iron Maiden. And they are going to be bringing the Infinite Dreams experience to Knebworth. What an honour the UK gets here, but they're going to be bringing that all together for the Infinite Dreams Museum with all the props and stage sets and all kinds of cool stuff there. Obviously, we don't know exactly what it's going to include and involve, but that's seriously exciting stuff. I'm really looking forward to that, I must say. A real special glimpse into Iron Maiden history. So it just gets better. Funfair, the Infinite Dreams Museum. We also have mention of a kind of Maiden marketplace almost, where we're going to be getting exclusive merch and opportunities to get hold of some serious goodies, which are fully anticipated. And if that wasn't quite enough, Funfair, museum, market, we're also going to be treated to some Friday entertainment. I believe the actual announcement did say it was curated and organised, or certainly directed, by none other than Steve Harris, the main man, Lightning Fingers Harris, where we're going to be getting some Friday night entertainment. We're going to get some live music in the sort of Maiden arena that they've got going on. And they are bands that have close association, or acts that have close association with Iron Maiden. So, for example, we have Stray on the bill, who I'm not familiar with, but I believe in the 90s, Maiden did a cover of one of their tracks. We also have Air Force, a name I'm not familiar with, but a little bit of research tells me they feature a former drummer of Maiden's, Doug Sampson. We also have Maiden United, which is, I believe, an acoustic Maiden tribute band, which is pretty cool. Different dynamic there. We have a glam metal kind of collective going on as well. And there's also further announcements to come. So we've got some cool, entertaining, fun, different entertainment for the Friday, I suppose. We've also got Tony Moore doing a set. I believe he was actually the keyboard player with Maiden way back when in the 80s. Brief bit of reading did tell me. So we've got a few different bands there. It's just a bit of entertainment, and I think that will be fun nonetheless. I think anyone that was anticipating we would have Bruce doing a solo set, or even Steve's British Lion, there's still possibility, of course. Nothing is out of limits, but maybe you might be slightly disappointed. But we've got some cool stuff nonetheless. So we have a full Iron Maiden festival. We have full Maiden entertainment going on here. Kicking off on the Friday, I will be straight down there to the dive bar, getting my troopers in. And then we have bands performing, we have merch, we have the fun fair, we have it all going on. So it seems to really have just doubled in size for something that is stated as being something very unique, a one of a kind. It actually said on the announcement, I believe, this was effectively the one and only time they were going to do this. I'm not entirely convinced. I do feel that if Maiden at Knebworth, Edfest, is a big success, I don't see why they wouldn't consider doing it again. But they did also say on the announcement this is the last UK opportunity to see Maiden until at least 2028, which, granted, that's only a couple of years, but I do think this is something quite special and an indicator of maybe how things will go in future. Look at other big names. Ozzy at Ozfest. Slipknot have Knotfest. It's not unheard of for bands to have their own kind of tour or single date festivals or global festivals. This might be the one and only UK Edfest, but maybe we will get other Edfests appearing across the world. Regardless, this is going to be something very special. I am certainly going to be making the effort to document it, unofficially, of course, but try and get some cool shots of what's going on there and give a little bit of an insight into the experience. And I'm certainly looking forward to this one. I think the other thing that comes to mind is, if this is Edfest, this is Iron Maiden's own festival. This is very special. Not to say that any of the other Run for Your Lives World Tour dates are not special, of course. Maiden, no doubt, will be giving it their all and going large on that. But I wonder if we will get maybe a different or an expanded Run for Your Lives set. Does make you think. I mean, maybe we could have an interlude. One set doing some of the stuff they've been doing on part one. Maybe another set doing some different things. Who knows? The possibilities are absolutely endless here. Would be absolutely satisfied even if they played the same set that they played in 2025, but some different tracks, maybe a few little gems thrown in, would be great. So there's that potential. I do suspect that Maiden will go all out with this one. We've also got a pretty interesting, diverse lineup preceding Iron Maiden on the Saturday. Certainly with Airborne, they're the only band on this lineup that I have seen previously. They're a very energetic band. I think that's certainly going to be a great warm-up. I know that the Who, Mongolian metalers, are very energetic and uplifting, so that's certainly going to be a good warm-up. Then we've got the Darkness. They are tremendous fun and great musicians and great rocking and rolling bands. So there's a lot of energy there. That's a good warm-up lineup. Obviously, Maiden are considerably heavier and more awesome than all of them, of course. Freaking love Maiden. But I think that will be a good way of getting the crowd sufficiently warmed up and having a good time. So Maiden they've got a lot of energy to follow on from. Of course, we all know Bruce Dickinson is absolutely he is rocket fueled. That guy has so much energy. He is all over the stage at once. So I don't think he'll have any issues there. And from seeing Maiden, as I say, in 2025 in Birmingham, they've got fine stuff going on there. They are all absolutely just master musicians. They are absolutely fantastic. The tightest metal unit ever. So really looking forward to it. It does bring a lot of questions to mind. Of course, we're praying for good weather. We're praying that there's going to be enough trooper behind the bar. In fact, more so, we're praying for the weather, because the weather in the UK, as we know, in festival season is so unpredictable, and it can just be, at the best of times, it can be a bit pants. So fingers crossed that the weather holds out. I do remember Maiden's last appearance at Sonosphere 2014. Of course, the Sonosphere, or some of the Sonosphere organisers, are now involved in the organisation of Edfest. But that last show, last Sonosphere UK show with Maiden, we had good weather. That was a good day weather-wise, and I remember that. It was good flying conditions because, of course, we had a flyover, a World War I dogfight reenactment that included Bruce Dickinson himself flying a replica Fokker. So that's freaking cool. And I wonder, it's just sprung to mind, could we get another flyover? Could that be an indicator? Obviously, in the corner here of the old poster, we've got the Spitfire for Aces High. But outside in England, in the summer, could we potentially have a Spitfire flying over? In fact, if I remember correctly, I think they did have a Spitfire flyover for a Download Festival set. It might have been the year before that, 2013. I can't remember. I was there, and I do remember there being something. Could be getting totally confused there, but who knows? The possibilities are endless. Maybe there'll be a flyover. If they've already got a Funfair, a marketplace, if they've already got more entertainment going on there, they've already got a museum, could we have an aerial display as well? Who knows? So, expectations are high. I'm certainly looking forward to it. I'll certainly be reviewing it in depth, of course. If you haven't got a ticket already, I believe there are still tickets available, surprisingly, and they do seem to be really accommodating, actually. There's shuttle buses, there's transport available, you can park there, you can camp for 2 nights. There's, other than maybe the money, it's not necessarily cheap, but other than that, there's no reason not to go. Frickin' Maiden, up the irons. So that's the latest. We've got another announcement. Edfest, first of its kind. It's awesome. I'm really, really pumped for it. Can't wait. Who knows if we're going to get anything else. But even if we don't, Edfest. Say no more. Iron Maiden. Excellent stuff. So my friends, are you going? Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one. If you are, if you're not, why not? But thanks very much for watching this humble update. Please feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment. Support is greatly appreciated, as always. Check back soon for more reviews and recommendations of all the good, heavy things. Till next time, take care of yourselves, my friends, and stay frickin' heavy.